They say money talks, but what if yours has been lying to you? Everyone wants Solomon's wealth, but almost no one studies Solomon's ways. We chase trends, hustle through burnout, and call it success. Meanwhile, the wisest man to ever live quietly built an empire using assets modern entrepreneurs keep ignoring. Not stocks, not crypto, but ancient principles that still outperform today's strategies, if you dare to apply them. What if you're one revelation away from unlocking the kind of wealth that actually honors God and doesn't destroy your soul? What if the real reason your Christian business feels stuck isn't the economy? It's that you skipped step 1 in God's blueprint, because Solomon didn't get rich by chance. He got rich by covenant. And by the time you finish this video, you'll know the 7 assets that made it happen, and exactly how to start applying them. Wisdom capital, the asset that precedes all money. Before Solomon ever touched a coin, he made the boldest investment a man can make. He asked God for wisdom, not wealth, not power, but wisdom. That request didn't just unlock heavenly favor, it triggered a divine economic strategy. Wisdom is the first form of capital in any godly business, and it's the one asset Wall Street can't quantify. In today's Christian business world, people chase money with passion but neglect the principle that builds it: understanding. Proverbs 4:7 reminds us, wisdom is the principal thing, therefore get wisdom. Many want returns without revelation, but without wisdom, even profit becomes poison. That's why Solomon didn't just receive wealth, he became the system that generated it. Wisdom teaches when to act, where to invest, and how to discern timing, the invisible force behind every prosperous decision. Imagine a modern entrepreneur who spends hours studying trends but never seeks divine insight. That's like building a house without checking the foundation. One simple shift, like reading The Richest Man Who Ever Lived by Stephen K. Scott, can change your financial mindset forever. If Solomon's first asset was wisdom, then why do most ignore it today? They think money comes from hustle alone. But hustle without heavenly insight leads to burnout. And if the wisest man who ever lived wouldn't make a move without consulting God, what makes us think we should? Which raises the question, what else are we missing from Solomon's blueprint? Strategic relationships, alliances that multiply treasure. Solomon didn't just build wealth, he built alliances. His marriage to Pharaoh's daughter wasn't romantic, it was economic. Each alliance brought not only peace, but also access to foreign resources, trade routes, and influence. In the marketplace of kings, Solomon played chess while others played checkers. Strategic relationships were a core pillar of his financial growth. In a modern Christian business, too many isolate themselves under the banner of independence. But even Jesus sent disciples out 2 by 2. Ecclesiastes 4:9 says, 2 are better than 1 because they have a good return for their labor. Strategic partnerships multiply both output and opportunity. Solomon knew how to turn a handshake into a harvest. Think of today's global entrepreneurs. The wealthiest don't just own, they collaborate. Whether it's co-investing, affiliate partnerships, or mentorship, wealth flows through connection. You might not marry a Pharaoh's daughter, but you can align with mentors, ministries, or networks that open doors money alone never could. A wise alliance can fast-track what solo efforts delay for years. So ask yourself, who in your circle pushes you closer to your God-given purpose? Who challenges you to build a godly business, not just a busy one? Solomon's net worth wasn't just in gold, it was in people, and his alliances built bridges to assets we'll uncover next. Visionary infrastructure, investing in the invisible. Long before the returns showed up, Solomon was building. The temple wasn't just a spiritual hub. It was an architectural marvel that positioned Jerusalem as a global landmark. Infrastructure is often overlooked in Christian business because it doesn't bring immediate cash flow. But Solomon knew, if you want long-term wealth, you build structures that outlast emotions. Modern entrepreneurs often seek instant results, forgetting that the systems behind a business are just as valuable as the services. Solomon's investments in fortified cities, storage facilities, and palaces were costly, but strategic. Proverbs 24:3-4 says, "By wisdom a house is built, and through understanding it is established. Through knowledge its rooms are filled with rare and beautiful treasures." It's not sexy, but it's sustainable. Take a godly business today. Websites, automations, financial tracking systems, training manuals. These are the temples of our era. Most ignore them, then wonder why they can't scale. Solomon invested in the invisible before enjoying the visible. His fortune was the fruit of foundational decisions. So when you see someone thriving, ask, what infrastructure did they build when no one was watching? Before Solomon's wealth became public, his vision was private. And what came next? Proof that real wealth doesn't rely on a single source. Commercial diversification. Wealth never comes from just one stream. Solomon didn't rely on a single revenue stream, and neither should you. His empire profited from gold, silver, cedar, spices, livestock, chariots, and global trade. He commissioned fleets of ships that returned every 3 years loaded with treasure. That wasn't luck. It was diversification. A truly godly business spreads its risk without scattering its purpose. Many Christian entrepreneurs pray for a financial breakthrough but operate with only one income source. That's like fishing with one hook in an ocean full of opportunity. Ecclesiastes 11:2 says, "Invest in 7 ventures, yes, in 8. You do not know what disaster may come upon the land." Solomon didn't wait for crisis to adapt. He planned for it in advance. In today's terms, this could look like combining a digital product with consulting, affiliate marketing, and a YouTube channel. Or pairing a brick-and-mortar store with online sales and real estate income. The idea is to let money flow through multiple gates while staying aligned with your kingdom mission. Solomon's diversification wasn't distraction, it was design. The question is, are you building a business that survives storms or one that collapses with the slightest shift? Solomon's model didn't depend on one market, one season, or one nation. And what followed proved that success isn't just about how wide you build, but how well you're known. Excellence in execution, reputation as an immeasurable asset. Solomon's name echoed across continents. The Queen of Sheba traveled with an entourage just to verify if the rumors were true, and she left in awe. That's what excellence does. It magnetizes resources. In Christian business, your reputation can open doors that your money can't. Solomon's operations ran with precision, beauty, and consistency. Excellence wasn't an option. It was policy. The world isn't short on Christians with good intentions. It's short on Christians who deliver with excellence. Proverbs 22:29 says, "Do you see a man skilled in his work? He will stand before kings." Solomon's administration, architecture, and even table settings impressed royalty. His attention to detail made his godly business impossible to ignore. In today's marketplace, excellence looks like clean branding, thoughtful customer service, on-time delivery, and going the extra mile, even when no one's watching. Think of companies like Chick-fil-A or Hobby Lobby. You may not agree with everything, but excellence has built them trust and traction. Reputation becomes the currency that attracts loyal clients and unexpected opportunities. So if your name were mentioned in a room of decision-makers, what would it evoke? Trust or tension? Solomon didn't need to cold call kings. His work spoke so loudly that they came to him. And as his reputation expanded, so did the system that governed it all. Just and efficient administration, the mind of a king, the hand of a CEO. Solomon didn't just lead with vision, he governed with structure. He divided Israel into administrative districts, each responsible for provisions and oversight. This decentralized system allowed his government to be efficient, sustainable, and prepared for growth. A godly business doesn't run on prayer alone, it runs on structure infused with wisdom. 1 Kings 4 details Solomon's officials, governors, scribes, and commanders. He was a spiritual leader, but also a masterful operator. Delegation wasn't a sign of weakness, it was wisdom in action. Like Exodus 18, where Moses learned to appoint capable men to handle smaller matters, Solomon built a business kingdom through strategic leadership and trust. In today's business world, many entrepreneurs burn out because they try to do everything themselves. But just like Solomon, they need financial systems, payroll processes, legal compliance, and healthy team culture. Tools like QuickBooks, Asana, or even a virtual assistant can be the officials that help modern Christian businesses thrive. So here's the challenge. Are you building something that depends entirely on you? Solomon didn't just seek to grow. He built a structure that could carry the growth. But even with all that excellent structure and scale, his greatest asset wasn't in the numbers. It was in the altar. Spiritual alignment with purpose, the fortune God upholds. At the core of Solomon's empire wasn't just policy or profit. It was presence, divine presence. His first major act as king wasn't launching a trade mission or raising taxes. It was building the temple. That tells us everything. He prioritized God's dwelling before expanding his own. A Christian business is only as powerful as its spiritual alignment. Solomon understood that prosperity without purpose leads to pride. 1 Kings 3:3 says, Solomon showed his love for the Lord by walking according to the instructions given him by his father David. Before wealth, there was worship. Before abundance, there was obedience. This alignment wasn't just symbolic, it was structural. His entire reign was an overflow of that sacred foundation. In today's noisy business world, it's easy to get distracted by metrics, hustle, and market trends. But none of that sustains without anchoring the business in prayer, purpose, and kingdom vision. Setting aside daily time to seek God's direction, tithing faithfully, and dedicating your business publicly to the Lord are not religious routines. They're financial strategies in the kingdom economy. So what happens when a business is built on the altar instead of the algorithm? It becomes unstoppable. Solomon's greatest flex wasn't his gold, it was God's hand on everything he touched. And now that you've seen the 7 assets that shaped his fortune, what will you do with this revelation? You've just uncovered the 7 assets that built one of the greatest fortunes in human history, and yet most Christians will still walk away doing nothing. They'll say amen, but change nothing. They'll post a Bible verse, but ignore the blueprint. But not you, because now you know the truth. God doesn't bless laziness, He blesses alignment. Solomon's wealth wasn't a miracle. It was a response to wisdom, structure, and spiritual devotion. And the same God who backed Solomon is watching how you steward what's in your hands right now. So let me ask you, are you building something God can breathe on? Or just chasing money and calling it a calling? Write in the comments, I'm ready to multiply what God gave me. And watch how this powerful declaration begins to shift your business and finances starting today. If this hits you in the spirit, it's not just a video. It's a wake-up call. So plant something today. Write a plan. Sow a seed. Confront your financial fears. Align your business with God's design. And if this message shook you in any way, consider supporting our ministry through the link in the description. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications and keep walking this path. Because Solomon's wisdom wasn't just for him. It was preserved for you.